Hello friends, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Trina, and today's Vlogmas video, I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 favorite anime that I have watched for the year 2023. And I was supposed to make this sort of like a tier list or like a March Madness style of a layout. However, I am thinking that there are like quite a lot of titles that I have ranked 10 out of 10 for the year 2023 that I decided to just pick out like 10 of my most favorite of all of that I have watched for this year, kind of like a top 10 recommendations list. So not necessarily like these animes were released in the year 2023, but rather I have watched them for the year 2023. So that's what we're going to do today. It is in my media journal. This is my journal wherein I put all of like my anime spreads in and anything with regards to my anime challenges for the month, or whenever I want to put like very spoilery notes and like rants and such when it comes to a certain anime that most of the time people don't want to read about. So that's what's in this notebook, and I will just put this to the side first. Already spoiled a few things, but I did prepare like a little bit of like a doodle situation for like our list here. I laid out the base of the spread in advance. So this is like the backing of like sticker sheets that I have, like floral alpha stickers. So I just put them side by side. So I made it into like a pegboard or grid style, and then I'm going to just stick in like my doodles and the title whenever I talk about them. So just like yesterday, I have a script ready so that I won't be too chaotic when it comes to laying out this whole spread. But also, this is not in order. Everything that I put in here are not in order. I just like talk about it the way I listed it down here in my script. So the very first one that we have here is Hell's Paradise, which is a historical fantasy with gore anime. So here I have doodled a little Gabimaru right there, and it is I rated this anime a 10 out of 10 actually. This is one of like my most anticipated watch for 2023 when it comes to like historical sort of themes like samurai era, and then coupled with gore and religion. It is very much something that I enjoy or like will most likely watch. So this is where our main character, Gabimaru, is sentenced to death but was given a chance for pardon if he is able to retrieve what they call the elixir of life from an island where no one was able to return alive. So I think this is quite a popular anime, to be perfectly honest, once you are like very into the horror, gore shows in, or like the genre in general. So it is very like flushed with Taoism themes and multiple plot twists. And for my opinion, or like in my own opinion, it ended up with like the very best cliffhanger that I've ever seen in anime, wherein what you have watched all throughout the season isn't as it was supposed to be. Like there is a plot twist to it, and the cliffhanger made me actually want to look forward to the next one, which is always a good sign. Sometimes we tend to like not like cliffhangers, but this one, they did a good job. The visuals are so great. If you are okay with gore, then go for it. I really highly recommend Hell's Paradise. Next we have here is Made in Abyss. I have watched season 1 in 2020 and continued with season 2 and the movie this year. So movie first, Dawn of a Deep Soul, 10 out of 10, and season 2 is Golden City of the Scorching Sun, which I gave 9 out of 10. It was still okay, it was still good. My fault was that I watched season 2 before the movie, so there are like points in the show wherein I did not understand what I was watching, so that like contributed to my confusion with season 2. So in my suggestion, you watch the anime in order to get a better idea as well as like appreciate the characters more. So this is an adventure fantasy but also with gore, wherein our main characters, Rico, which is the one that I drew, what is the name of the robot again, Reg, and then Nanachi, went down to the abyss in search for Rico's mother. And in this season 2 as well as the movie, they are going layer by layer deeper into the abyss, wherein there is a curse that would transform you into a non-human as you go deeper. And there are like different stories and different characters they meet with each layer, and also their own sets of drama and struggles. And if you could stomach The Promised Neverland, you would most likely like Made in Abyss as well. It is adventure, it is very much horror amidst all the cutesy and like childish characters, and I really love it. I highly recommend it. I always recommend Made in Abyss whenever I do like a top 10 tier or like best anime tiers of all time. Next, we have here, moving from like the gore and the horror, I have one romance actually that made it to my top 10 list, which is also very much popular. It is Kaguya-sama Love is War. I also believe I watched seasons 1 and 2. Is it 1 and 2? Like last year, and then I watched Ultra Romantic this year, and I was supposed to proceed to watching the movie, the First Kiss movie. However, I'll just save that for next year, I guess. But I really love this season, like Ultra Romantic in general. I rated Ultra Romantic a 10 out of 10. It is part of like this video doesn't end until I watch a 10 out of 10 anime. So if you don't know, Kaguya-sama actually very much popular when it comes to romance comedy. But it is a romance comedy anime wherein the president and vice president of this academy, Shirogane and Kaguya, are like outsmarting each other or making each other confess first, and whoever confesses first for their love for the other will be considered the loser. And it's all fun and games. The characters are very much lovable. I really love Chika, of course, and Ishigami. Ishigami played quite a big like sub role in this season, which I really appreciate. And I really love it. It is getting a little more serious because this season they are like graduating or almost graduating. So like the stakes are higher, and whether or not they're fun in games when it comes to having the other confess first still holds like significance to them, because if they don't confess first, what if the other doesn't confess first as well? So that means their relationship won't take to another level because they are keeping quiet about it. So it's like, who is less stubborn among the two? So it's very beautiful. I really love the ending. One of the best endings that I have watched this year when it comes to romance. I am not a romance or slice of life girly. I do love like mystery, gore, suspense, psychological, and by far Kaguya-sama is the only romance that made it to my top 10. Actually, it's not just Kaguya. There's another one, but we'll get into that later. But it's not in here that I am presenting as of the moment. So next, we proceed to like the very first anime that I watched for 2023 actually, which is Mob Psycho 100. I have here Kageyama. I watched the first 2 seasons last year and then finished season 3, the third one this year, and I rated it as a 9 out of 10. Also one of the best like endings. Like, I'm satisfied with this ending. I do highly recommend Mob Psycho 100. It is a action supernatural comedy of our main character Kageyama, or Mob, who is a psychic, and we see how he grows up and takes on challenges with like school, with love, with family and friends, and with controlling his powers so that he won't like lose control and destroys everything. And as typical with like psychic concepts of anime, and the ending makes you feel actually very much proud of Kageyama, and I feel very proud of his growth and really enjoyed this anime because of it. So I do recommend it. It is very much satisfying. I say that like the first season, probably like getting into it, you might find it a little bit monotonous with like his direction, because he just started. Like, he's very quiet. He is very much like just follows whatever other people tell him to do, and then he starts to gain like confidence in himself, confidence in his like abilities, and able to like tell people what he feels, and really much something that makes you feel proud of a character for his growth. And then we have here, for like the last one for this side, I have like quite an underrated, at least for me, I feel it is underrated, because I see that it has like low ratings when it comes to like the My Anime list. And I think I also wrote this down in a previous spread of mine, but it is Ghost Hound. I have here Taro, one of the main characters. It is a mystery psychic suspense anime. I rated it actually an 8 out of 10 because I wish that this anime, it was so good, but I wish that it was shorter. So 22 episodes for this. I think they could have made it a little bit shorter, and it would like deem the same results, or gave the same results for it. It is a small town horror with a little bit of sci-fi in the end. I was actually surprised with sci-fi at the end. I don't think that it was supposed to be a plot twist, but it turns out to be that type of plot twist. But if you are like very much keen on like the patterns when it comes to small town horror and like curses and such, you would get that there is like it is going there. Like it is predictable if you are like very much into this genre. But this is like a group of kids are somehow connected due to a case that happened 11 years ago wherein Taro's sister got kidnapped, and then everyone in this town is suspicious, as always with like small town horrors, and it is very much slow at first. I think there is an intensity like here and there, but it starts off slow, but give it a chance. The mystery is actually quite good. So yeah, even though predictable, it's still quite good. I still recommend it, even though like my anime list ranks it like 7 or something. And then next we have here is another one that I don't see people talk about that much. Probably I am the only one who probably likes this anime, not sure, but it is Land of the Lustrous. It is an anthropomorphic drama anime wherein in this world it is post-apocalyptic dystopian world wherein the earth was like destroyed because of 6 meteorites, or like 6 meteors rather, and then after that all of like the inhabitants are crystalline beings, or like crystals, gemstones, and they live to fight the Lunarians, or like the moon people, wherein they attack like the gemstones in order to break down their bodies to make them into like jewelry and decorations. And what I get from this anime is that it's very much suspicious because there is a theme of like religion. Like the Lunarians are very much religious, like images from different religions, really. Christianity, Hinduism, Taoism, like very much all across the board, different types of religions, and they are attacking these gemstone creatures. And what's something that is also suspicious about this anime is that their father figure of the gemstones is actually a human, and more so a monk. So it's very much heavy on like religion when it comes to their theme, and I'm very much interested in what's more to come, because one of the characters are like linking like the Lunarians with their father now, and what is their connection. So yeah, that is something I am looking forward to. I drew in here not the main character, but rather Antarcticite, I believe is his name, and he only comes out during the winter season while the other gemstones are asleep, and he is very pretty. I really love him. Next we have here is one of my favorites. This is no question why it's in my top 10 list. It's always in my top 10 list. It is Bungo Stray Dogs. I have watched season 5 this year and rated it a 10 out of 10. I did feel quite a little bit of like disappointment with like one of the scenes, but it's fine. I still really love like when they showed Chuya. I actually realized that the season was like ahead of the manga. That's why I haven't read through until the very end of season 5 in the manga, and I was very much afraid of it. I procrastinated on this for so long, and then reaching that ending, it was so good. And also I am very much curious on what is to come with like the preview and such for season 6. It's probably the last one, I'm not sure, but we'll see. But to those who don't know what Bungo Stray Dogs is, it is a supernatural organized crime anime wherein the characters are named after famous authors all across history, and then their powers are like the titles of the books that they wrote or the poetry that they wrote. The story started out as like a very much a power struggle between different ability users, and like their fight to see who's the strongest, between the mafia, the detectives agency, and then other like foreign organizations. And then in this season, it's like they are trying to obtain one order, which is the power that gives the user the ability to make reality whatever is said to it, and eventually another ability that I will not really say because spoilers. So as always, I highly recommend Bungo Stray Dogs if you haven't watched it yet. It starts slow. It starts very much slow if you're just getting into it. Give it a chance, because like around the season 3, I believe, is when it ramps up and you start to understand like the bigger picture. Like the first 2 seasons is like establishing characters, establishing like the dangers of like their abilities and what the purposes are. Like season 1 is character development for like the main characters. Season 2 is like introducing like other players in this whole scheme of things. Season 3 is when like the trouble starts. So yeah, I've talked so much about Bungo Stray Dogs now. I will proceed to the next one, which is another like somewhat underrated, but I really enjoyed. It is Humanity Has Declined. It is a fantasy and comedy anime. To me, it's like dark comedy actually because it's like very morbid. It is about the human population is going extinct because of low birth rate, and so in this world there are only a few humans left, and then the world is being ruled over by these fairy creatures. And our main character, who is unnamed, is an arbitrator between humans and fairies, and they try to learn how to communicate with the fairies more. And it is chaotic because the fairies really love candy or anything sugary, and they multiply fairly fast. So the main character is trying to gauge on what to do with these small tiny fairies and how to control them, how to communicate with them better, and also learning about the different like things that happened in her past. So everything modern to us is like a relic of the past for her. And then next we have here is another like similar to Made in Abyss style, but less of like the bloody gore, but more of the mystery element to it. It is Shadow's House. I have watched season 2 this time and really loved it. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It is a fantasy mystery wherein kids serve as faces for shadow beings who are considered as nobles in this mansion. So they clean up the house. The kids, like the human kids, clean up the mansion and also serve their masters, and they dress up like they do their hairstyle similarly to their masters, and they serve as the faces of these shadow creatures. And in this season, the like main characters or like the main group of kids are starting to grow up, and they are provided like different tests and challenges on whether or not they deserve to move up to a different wing in their mansion as they grow older. The children's wing is different from the teenagers and adults, and there is a lot of suspicious mysteries in like the process of choosing which kids deserve to move up like a rank. And our main character Kate and her doll Emilico, they call their humans or like their faces as dolls. They decided to investigate the mysteries within this mansion with the mysteries of the teenagers and the adults, and in order to do that they have to move up the rank and become like the head of the children's wing, which is the star bearer. So pretty much a very intense sort of action this time, because the first season is more of like passing the test to become like part of the children's wing, or like whether or not she deserves to be a part of the mansion because she is now of age. And so yeah, I really recommend Shadow's House. It is more like if you still want the intensity of mystery, supernatural, and like horror-ish, only toned down, minus the gore, then there's still a little bit of body horror, but not too intense. So yeah, that's like my interest basically. So those are the themes mostly you will see me with all of my anime that I'm recommending. And the very last one we have here are like movies, a collection of movies that I've watched. It is part of like the Fate series. It is Under Type Moon, and it is Garden of Sinners. I drew here Ryoji Shiki, the main character, and it is a mystery suspense following the like the whole narrative wherein Ryoji Shiki is involved because there are like a lot of mysterious murders that happen wherein the scene of the crime is like too gruesome for a person or like a human to actually do. And then Shiki has like a certain past that was brought back because of these incidents. And there are, I believe, 8 movies, and I haven't actually watched the 8th yet. I only watched from 1 to 7, and I do recommend like specifically A Study in Murder. That is like the very much the backstory of Shiki. There are 2 parts, the past and then like the present. So I do recommend movies chapters number 2, 3, 5, and 7. And each of the chapters are actually linked with one another, but sometimes they are also like can be a standalone story. These are my top 10 favorites, mostly suspense, psychological horror, gore, but there is like romance, there is like wholesome stuff in there. There's also like comedy, so a little bit of like a hodgepodge, and I really do enjoy it. Actually, I'm very happy on how these like turn out. I was like doodling just one night and say why not I make like my top 10 list but make it into doodles. So this is like the collection of top 10 that I have, but I do have special mentions for you guys because I know for a fact that there is not enough space for me to spass about all of my favorites. So I do have special mentions. I will put them up on screen. It is not in order as always, as I mentioned earlier, but I really love Ascendance of Bookworm. I just started it this year. I'm going to proceed with season 2 next year. You'll see that I really do enjoy it. Kimetsu no Yaiba, the Swordsmith arc. I did watch others, but I really do love the Swordsmith arc. I don't need to like talk too much about Kimetsu no Yaiba because it's very much popular and it deserves its hype. Next we have here is Dokyusei Classmates. It is a boys love anime. It's very much like reality when it comes to romance, at least for me. It's too real. So I do love that drama. Next we have here is Fire Force. I watched season 2, and season 2 encompasses all of my favorite chapters in the manga, so I really do love it. Next we have here is Restaurant to Another World. I have watched season 1 and I'm going to proceed to season 2. If you like to have like an initial introduction to isekai fantasy or like different fantastical stories, Restaurant to Another World is like a good introduction to that. Plus it's gourmet and it's very wholesome. Next we have is Naka 13 Territory Inspection Department. This is a fantasy drama wherein our main character audits the 13 different territories of this kingdom to see if there's like corruption or a risk for a coup d'etat against the king. And it's fun. The different territories have different like specialties, and you get to like see firsthand the different like experiences with each different territory. Next we have is another gourmet anime, Campfire Cooking in Another World. It is one of my favorite isekai fantasy as of date, and it's cooking, it's like online shopping. It's very much different from the usual isekai fantasy that we have that is mostly adventuring. His main focus is more on like providing food for the adventurers, and it's very much fun. Next we have is Classroom of the Elite. I watched season 2. Very much an intense anime as always. Ayano Koji being the most manipulative red flag ever, but I still enjoy it. Number 9 we have here is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I have watched Golden Wind this year, and I really enjoyed that specific like generation. It's one of my favorites now, and I would probably proceed with like the next season, like the next 3 seasons for next year. And the last of the 10 is Reincarnated as a Sword. One wholesome isekai fantasy after another, but this time the main character is an inanimate object, which is a sword, and I really enjoyed it. So yeah, so not necessarily 10, but 20 recommendations for you all. And I do have another spread here actually of like, this is something that I made in the past. Oh, where's it? Hold up. Where did I put it? Here. So this is my top anime of 2023 so far. I believe I made this around July this year, so I'm just putting it in here to see if there are like similarities to this, because I haven't really like looked at this for a bit, but I have 2 pages. So I mentioned Dokyusei and Aka 13. I also mentioned Made in Abyss, Campfire Cooking, Mob Psycho, Reincarnated as a Sword, Garden of Sinners is here, Classroom of the Elite, and then like Ghost Hound is here, Land of Lustrous is here. So pretty much a lot of like the titles that I've already mentioned, with the addition of some others that are not necessarily a 10 out of 10, but I still highly recommend. So we have Yakuza's Guide to Babysitting, Fate Apocrypha, probably one of the best like Type Moon titles out there. Talent Plus Nana is also one that I am looking forward to the next, if there is any that is next. Card Fight Vanguard Will Dress seasons 1 and 2. I haven't finished season 3 yet, but it's like bias on my part because I play Vanguard. Sing a Bit of Harmony is one great movie that I enjoyed. It is sci-fi drama. Bungo to Alchemist is also one that I liked this year. Tatami Galaxy and Yaboy Kongmi. These like not of this year, not released this year I mean, but I still really enjoy it. If you want like a very avant-garde type of like looking into oneself, I recommend the Tatami Galaxy. It's a very beautiful art style. Licorice Recoil is also very much popular. Blue Period, of course. Cautious Hero is another isekai fantasy that I recommend. To Ever You I Loved Before, and To Me, The One Who Loved You. Very much seen this on like Reels and TikTok for like since its release, and this is like 2 parallel worlds sci-fi movie with romance, and in these 2 movies the main character guy has different love interests. So as always, with like every time I mention this movie, do watch To Me, the One Who Loved You Before, To Every You I Loved Before, because this movie the second one, referenced this one a lot. So if you haven't watched this yet, you won't get the references. King's Game or Osama Games, it's very much a gore, like, to me it's very much a trashy anime, but I really enjoyed it for what it is. I don't necessarily recommend it because it's like very much a horrible it's very much horrible, but I did enjoy it. So if you don't have anything else to watch when it comes to like the horror, gore, psychological drama genre, then go for King's Game. It's fine. And we have here Black Summoner. Also, enjoyed that isekai fantasy. Dead Mount Deathplay. We have here, and then we have Merman in My Tub. This is like a short slice of life anime. It's adorable. And then Kina's Journey. It's also like very much going to different kingdoms and territories and seeing the culture and the cultural differences of each territory. Really love this anime. And yeah, I already mentioned Humanity Has Declined. So that is like more than 20 now suggestions from this video for you guys. So I hope you enjoy today's video. I really enjoyed making this spread. I really enjoyed drawing again. And I hope you enjoyed as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And if you have your favorites list, do leave them down in the comments. I would like to see if we have like similarities and differences when it comes to anime recommendations. And if I haven't watched your recommendation, I would definitely watch it. So yeah, leave them down in the comments. And that is it. Thank you again, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. So until then, guys, take care and bye.